Hello, man. What's up?
Hey man, I can't believe it's still daylight.
I know. Isn't it great? I love the whole daylight changeover thing where the day is longer. I cannot stand like the wintertime when it gets dark at like 5 o'clock. I hate that.
I just wish they would leave it like this.
I do too. What's the point of it again? Like, I don't get the point.
Well, I think it's something Benjamin Franklin came up with back when, more agricultural.
Yeah, we're not like agricultural anymore, though.
Yeah.
It's like drivers that can actually beat Kevin Harvick. There's very few of them left.
Very true, very true.
That was some of the best racing of the season so far. Like, I thought it was really good race, and for it being a Phoenix race, I owe Phoenix an apology because every time that race always comes around, I'm like, that's going to be a snooze, but man, it really wasn't this time.
I hate to admit it, but I did do some snoozing during the race. It wasn't anything against the race. I had a date Saturday night, and
did you say you had a date? Wait. Did you say you had a date?
Yes, I did.
Well, how was that?
Oh, it was wonderful. We went out and saw a couple of really good bands too, and just a good time. Had ball.
Man, look at you going on a date. The last time I went on a date was let me think about this. It was November of 2016.
Man, you need to go on more dates.
I know, yeah.
It was.
I'm too busy watching racing.
It's cheaper.
I know. Well, congratulations on the whole date, man. Have you got a second date?
Yeah, probably.
Excellent.
Probably so.
So, what's his name?
Good one. Jeff Gordon.
That's pretty good.
We'll just let that go undisclosed, okay?
Okay. So, do you think? So, what do you think? You think Kevin Harvick is still cheating, or do you just think he's just that dang good? What do you think?
Of course, you heard what Harvick said about it at the end of the race, but apparently those guys know something.
And they know something that the other Ford cars don't, because if you look, the Fords didn't do all that well. Stewart-Haas Racing did well. All four of their cars finished in the top 10. But the other Ford teams, they weren't anywhere near the top 10. So whatever Harvick is doing...
Do you think they just don't want to spread the love, or...
I mean, would you? I mean, if you were that good, would you go and tell Roger Penske what you were doing?
Not unless he just, came right out and asked, and I'll maybe, I maybe would have to say, gee whiz, I don't know.
I don't know what we're doing. It's just working for us.
Yes, it's working for them, and Harvick's driving the hell out of the car. That's for sure.
Yeah, 3 wins in a row. That's pretty good.
And I'm kind of like you about Phoenix. That's such a strange track. Just the layout of the track is so strange.
Yep.
Where they go into that
dog leg
narrow chute there.
Yeah.
If somebody screwed up and they went into that 3 wide, which I think I've seen happen before, that's a mess right there.
That certainly is. That's certainly a mess.
Everybody seems to be driving good.
There really isn't a whole lot of people crashing into one another going on out there. Most of the all of the cautions, except for Daytona, good lord, but all of the other tracks, it seems to be isolated, cautions on the racetrack.
Yeah, the competition cautions and.
There was a couple of cautions at Phoenix for at Paul Menard. Something just slap broke on his car.
Yes, it did. That was a crazy wreck.
That was crazy. You saw like sparks come out of the bottom of the car, then all of a sudden that car just shot right for the wall. Whatever that was that came off the car was definitely important.
Very important. important.
It was apparently whatever that was pretty dang important.
It's you rarely see somebody back into the fence like that.
I know. I don't know what came off, but man, they don't need to have that happen again.
Absolutely. I hope they went in there and found out what that was. It was Gordon and Waltrip, that did a little speculating, and of course Waltrip has such a let's say an affinity for stating the obvious so
yes,
profoundly.
Sir. Yeah, he sure does.
He does.
And anytime he can work in a story about a race he won or how good he was back in the 80s, he'll take it. He'll take it.
And I love to hear him do it.
I know.
Really do.
I know. Every time he gets going on it, you're like, yep, here he goes. Here he goes. Best race car driver ever lived, if he tells it.
Oh, gosh, yeah. And that's why he makes such a great color commentator. He's been there, he's done that, and cried all the way.
Motor mouth Waltrip.
He's tough back then. I'm not taking anything away from his driving. He was a good driver.
He was.
All of them are good drivers, or they wouldn't be there.
I had to say, you take the guy who finished last in the Cup race this weekend, and he'd still beat you. I mean, they're all the best, all of them. That's how they got to that level.
Exactly. And, gosh, they've, been racing since they were kids, they started out with go-karts and
yeah, been racing their whole lives.
Like me and you, we've just been doing it on the highways all our lives.
That's right.
So probably got the tickets to prove it.
I know. Back when I had that Mitsubishi Eclipse, man, I had some good days in that.
I remember that thing. I was going to buy one of those back in the day, and after you started having some issues with yours,
nothing electrical worked on that car.
I'm kind of glad I did.
Do you know I met up? Apparently there is like the same problem in all those cars, because I met up with someone who raced Mitsubishi Eclipses at VIR, and I was talking to him about his car. He was working on it one day, and I was talking to him about it, and he was telling me all the things that were wrong with it, and they were the exact same things wrong with mine. Nothing electrical worked on the car, and the door handles fell off. That was the thing. And I talked to a couple of other people who own Eclipses, and they'd all say the same thing. The door handles fell off. Apparently that car's door handles just wouldn't stay on. And I had to open up, I don't know if you remember, but I had to open up my car with a putter.
I remember that.
Because I had to open the trunk, and I had a putter in the trunk, and I'd have to reach around with the putter to the door to open it. Because I had no door handle.
It sounds like my brother's Toyota.
Yeah, it just fell slap off. Good, fun car to drive, though. But yeah, nothing electrical worked on it. And if I didn't drive it in a day, like if I went a day without turning the car on, the next day it wouldn't start.
Really?
Sometimes, even if I wasn't going anywhere, sometimes I'd have to go out to the car, turn it on, and just let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes idling, and then it'd be good. But I had to start that car every day at some point. Every day
Wow.
I had to at least start that car and let it run for 15 minutes.
Maybe that's why we don't see Mitsubishi race.
I know. Yeah. Not very reliable cars. Fun cars to drive, not very reliable. But I tell you what, I did, in the end, I put 275,000 miles on the old girl.
Well, that's not bad, really.
No.
You got over 250,000 miles out of that thing. It's not bad.
Nope.
I used to work with a guy years ago, back when I was doing service work. He was a weekend racer,
Mm-hmm.
and they raced rotary engine cars, Mazda.
Mazdas, yep.
Yeah, the Wankel rotary engine.
Oh, yes.
Man, imagine the excitement. He would try to get me to come out, just watch him, maybe help him in the pit a little bit or something. I never could bring myself to. I was really busy back then, though. But
Yeah.
But he seemed to enjoy it, had a lot of fun doing it.
Oh, I bet it was a blast. I like Mazdas. I drive a Mazda now.
Really?
I do. I have a Mazda 6.
Very nice.
I
Very
know.
nice.
It's you know what the one thing I don't like about it though, and this isn't from an engineering perspective because I think it's kind of a dumb idea. So my car is one of those fancy ones with the push button start and everything. So I got this key fob. I don't have any keys to the car. The car has no keys, right? It's a fob. And all I got to do is have this fob on me and be somewhere in the vicinity of the car. And when I get in it, I put my foot on the brake, I press a button, the car starts. The problem with that is, and I don't know why they thought this was a good idea, but the problem is that if the battery in the key fob dies or gets weak, you can't start the car. And I don't know what engineer in the world said, you know what, that's a flawless design. Because I don't know why they didn't just make a key for the car, but put the key in the fob in case one day, I don't know, the fob ever stopped working.
Well, you know, that's the way my Honda is. You know, it's got that chip key, and it's got the buttons on the key.
Yeah.
And it seems like I've noticed it seems like the battery in that thing may be getting a little weak. Or maybe the way I'm hitting the button or something. But sometimes I actually have to hit the button twice to get the door to unlock and stuff.
Yeah.
That is crazy, though. No keys. Wow.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a very good design because, like I said, if the fob battery dies, I can't start my car. Like, the whole car is useless if this fob dies. The key fob is like the most important part of the dang car.
Wow.
Other than that, the Mazda 6 is a fantastic car.
I've heard some good things about them. I mean, I see a lot of them on the road.
Man, I've put a lot of miles on it this year driving to Daytona and Atlanta following all this racing around. Comfortable car.
It's always nice to have a nice, comfortable, fuel-efficient car to do that in.
Heck yeah. I mean, fuel efficient, you want to talk fuel efficient. Man, I filled up, when I went to Daytona for the 24 hours of Daytona, I filled up my car in Raleigh. And I got on 40 to 95, and I got gas as I was coming out of Georgia.
Are you serious?
Man, full tank of gas took me all the way to the Florida line.
That's not bad. That's
Ain't
not
bad.
bad. What
Hey,
is that?
that was 400
miles?
It was 420 miles.
420? Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad. And I'm sure the thing doesn't have like a super big tank.
No, I think it's only 14 gallon tank, and it took me 420 miles from Raleigh, North Carolina to like the last town in Georgia right before I got to Florida.
That's not too shabby, Justin.
I know. I was proud of that little car.
I think NASCAR should work on their fuel efficiency, you know.
Things don't get any fuel mileage, man.
Man, just think, you know, if we got the same kind of gas mileage and tire wear as NASCAR does,
man,
we couldn't afford to drive, bro.
I'm about to say we'd be broke.
Oh man.
So
It's
yeah,
crazy.
they could only go what, 60 miles on a tank of gas, if you think, because I think it's like what, 60. Phoenix is a mile. They were going like 60 laps on a tank of gas. It's about 60 miles on a tank of gas. Could you imagine if all you could get out of your car was 60 miles?
Yeah, you pull in at a gas station, you know, and fill her up or get you a splash and go and buy you a new set of tires. Make a wedge adjustment. You don't see them doing that this year.
No, I'm telling you, that's like a thing of the past. Most of the crew chiefs are starting to make more adjustments with tire pressures. These guys are doing more with the cars with tire pressure adjustments than they are with wedges and track bar. And now the driver actually can change the track bar himself on the steering wheel. But you don't see a whole lot of wedge adjustments anymore. It's mainly tire pressures now.
I'm still wondering why they haven't followed suit with like the Formula One and, you know, the open wheel cars. And, you know, you see them guys come in the pit and they hook an air hose up to the car and it's already got the jack built in, you know, the car just...
The air jack.
Yeah, it's up in the air, you know, but you know...
Well, you know what?
For any jackman listening to this, you know, you're not trying to take your job away.
Well, it's funny you should bring that up because the rumor mill is that NASCAR is thinking about going to an air jack system.
Really?
Yeah, that's the rumor.
Wow, didn't know that.
That's a rumor that's been floating around, is that NASCAR is thinking about going to that. And, NASCAR's been making a lot of changes with the pits and, cutting men over the wall anyway, so they might be getting ready to cut the jack man.
What are all those big guys going to do? I guess they'll have to get big bouncers in bars.
I guess so, because they won't be jacking up cars if that's true.
Man.
But yeah, Formula One pit stops, it's pretty crazy to watch those things because they're only like 3 to 4 seconds on a pit stop because they come in, every man has a tire, and they change all 4 tires at the same time. And then the car goes down on the jack and takes off. And Formula One, they run an entire race on 1 tank of gas. You're not allowed to fuel the car. It's against the rules.
I enjoy watching the open wheel racing. It can get kind of boring too, but
yeah, because they can't do as much side-by-side racing like NASCAR can. Those open-wheel cars can't lean on one another and bounce off one another without some serious repercussions.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's like a chariot race or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember those.
You remember chariot races? You go to a few, did you?
Oh yeah, I remember those. Go to the Coliseum, watch the chariot race. We had a little trading sheet metal out there Sunday.
Oh man, one of the best ones I saw was Kyle Larson got into Joey Logano, and then Joey Logano got into Trevor Bayne, and both of them almost wrecked one another. And Kyle Larson drove on. That was pretty exciting.
That was they all did a good job of holding their line on that one too.
Yeah, I don't know how them 2 guys saved it.
They're that good, man.
Talent,
they're just that good.
Talent. Rubbing is racing.
That's it, man. I remember several years back, Richard Petty actually gave somebody a little love tap out on the interstate.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
Remember that?
I wish you could. I don't see why you can't. I honestly don't see why you can't. You know how many times I've been going down I-40 to Wilmington, and I'm in the fast lane, and there's someone going 10 miles under in the fast lane, and I just want to go up there and just tap that ass?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know why you can't. I think they should. I think it should be illegal for you. I think it should be perfectly within the realm of law to go up there and just tap that bumper.
I think so too. People obviously that they don't know the rules of the road anymore.
You got to teach them. Craziest thing I ever saw in a car, though. I was going down to Wilmington. This was back when I did movies, and I was driving down to Wilmington to shoot a scene that night, actually of a car crash, and this car came flying up on me, like hauling ass. And I was in the fast lane going over the speed limit, so I was already going fast, and he came up on me like I'm sitting still. So before I have a chance to move over for this guy, he just passes me in like the median ditch there on the left side in the grass. And,
power to it.
And he comes back up on the road in front of me, and he keeps going. Well, there's a bend, and we come around the bend, and he tries to do it to the car in front of me at the time, the next car in line. And when he comes back up on the road, I think he came up too quick, and he lost it, and that car started spinning, and it got airborne, and he rolled that thing, I don't know, 5-6 times. Right there at the Warsaw exit. I don't know if you go down 40 much, but where there's that...
I know what you're talking about.
Right there where the Warsaw like rest area exit is. He flipped it right there on that bridge. Golf clubs went. He had some golf clubs in the trunk, and they just went everywhere. Golf clubs went everywhere. That car was destroyed. So of course, wow. I stop and I get out and I go running over to the car. It's a smoking mess, and there's oil everywhere and water from the radiator. And he comes crawling out of that thing, dazed and confused, to say the least. He's like, "What happened? What happened?" I said, "Dude, you were just in a car crash. Are you all right?" He didn't seem to be bothered by anything. I guess his adrenaline was running or whatnot. But that was the craziest dang thing I ever seen. Just golf clubs and car flying everywhere.
Well, man, it's a shame you didn't have your camera running. That could have saved you a trip all the way down to Wilmington.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, I'm ready for this scene now. I just got firsthand look at how this should be, how this should play out.
Wow. Yes.
So do you think Kevin Harvick's going to win 4? When will he lose? When will Kevin Harvick lose?
Well, he's looking really strong.
Yeah, I'd say so. Won the last 3 races. There's only been 2 winners this year, man. It's been Austin Dillon and Kevin Harvick. That's it.
This weekend should be a really good race. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I think a Toyota is actually going to win the race this weekend. I just have a feeling. I know that's probably crazy, but I think that Toyota might actually have something for the Fords this weekend.
Maybe Truex, or
I'm actually leaning towards Kyle Busch because Kyle Busch has finished second to Kevin Harvick 2 weeks now in a row, and you could definitely tell in his post-race interview he was getting very frustrated. In fact, he used the word frustrated. And I just I don't think he's going to want to finish second to Kevin Harvick for a 3rd week in a row. I think Kyle Busch is going to win the race this Sunday.
Well, that's your prediction?
That's my prediction. Kyle Busch knocks Harvick off the throne.
I'm going to go out there and say, I'm going to, just for the heck of it, I'm going to say Truex.
Martin Truex Jr., he's due for a win.
He is. He's a good driver.
Very good.
He's probably got as good a chance as anyone is winning this weekend.
Oh, heck yeah. So I think we're both in agreement that some type of Joe Gibbs car or Joe Gibbs powered car is probably going to win the race. You know what's interesting is all during the offseason, NASCAR was really pushing the young stars, the Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Bubba Wallace, Eric Jones. They were really pushing their young stars as the big media giants over the offseason, the guys to watch. And so far, Kevin Harvick, the old veteran, has been getting the job done.
Yes, sir. Well, there's that